This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Radar, and I'm so thrilled to be speaking with Rose McIver about ghosts. How are you, Rose?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. Thanks so much for chatting.
Of course, I'm a big fan of ghosts, but I'm also a big fan of iZombie.
Oh,
Um, and it's fun to watch you go from one to the other because I feel like they're so similar and so different. Was it a natural progression for you?
I feel like, there's similarities obviously in the kind of heightened world that they're living in and the sort of some of the humor and the tone, but the characters are very, very different. Sam is incredibly accommodating and very I think of Liv in iZombie as a bit more of like a warrior, and Sam is a juggler and a anchor and somebody who's trying to hold people together. Liv was pushing through, and Sam is like helping everything kind of hold. I think so. Character-wise, it feels very different, but I certainly seem to have a thing for the undead. I don't know what it is, but
I think Sam's also more of a straight man, whereas, Liv would always push and make jokes. Sam tries sometimes, but she knows that people don't think she's funny.
oh, for sure. For sure. She's such a tryhard. I love that. She's way closer to me in that regard. I don't know how I got Liv. Like, I don't know how I got to play this kind of ballsy, brash, sort of um, very deeply confident character because it's not quite so much like myself.
Had you seen the original Ghost before getting this role?
I only watched a couple of episodes because I didn't want to kind of just be doing a pale imitation of Charlotte Ritchie's great work. But I loved it. I mean, it's such a genius concept. The people involved are so deeply imaginative, and um, I'm just very, very grateful they've been as welcoming as they have been to us to come in and kind of do this iteration that we've hopefully put our own spin on and made something that feels kind of different. It obviously it's the same premise, but I feel like all the relationships have opened up very, very different dynamics on our show. So that's helpful in a lot of ways. It doesn't feel like it feels like we've departed and we've kind of got our own path we're forging.
I actually haven't seen the original series, but I have seen Charlotte in Dead Pickles, and I like her a lot, so I'm sure I would enjoy it.
Yeah, she's so good. No, they're brilliant. It's such a brilliant show.
Well, fortunately, this American version is also brilliant. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice because there's so much on TV that's unpleasant and violent. And that's not, even though you have, decapitations and other things on this show, it's not there's
Really
a very
uplifting.
positive spirit.
Yeah, they're sort of
Yeah.
like hopeful decapitations, which is nice. I feel like it's the kind of thing that I want to watch at the end of the day. And I think that's why people have responded to it the way they have. Is sometimes we want to be educated and challenged and confronted, and sometimes we just want like a salve. We want something that just feels like comfort and home. And I feel like that's what Ghost has achieved. And it's I'm really proud of some of the messages that we carry. I think we by no means don't have an opinion on the state of the world, and we make lots of comments, but it's just hopefully done in a way that is uh, not disruptive from people's kind of pleasant evenings. We're insipid enough. We're sort of subconscious enough about our messaging. I hope that people are able to kind of not feel um, deeply confronted and challenged in their own homes.
I think so. You're also the only one who gets to change wardrobe every episode and
Mm.
who can actually see everyone else. I feel like usually there's some sort of balance. Yeah, you're the lead, sure, but I think you have quite a few privileges, this character, compared to every other person on the show.
Oh yeah, so lucky. I do feel after like 5 years in Liv's white wig, I'm okay with being the one who gets a little bit not too much hair to deal with this time or anything. So it's very comfort plus. My stuff is, Sam wears nice high-waisted comfy pants and I love it. Most of the things that she wears are things that I would feel comfortable wearing.
Do you enjoy getting to reshoot scenes where Jay can see everything and then where he can't?
It's a remarkably technical show. Yeah, it's I don't think any of us really thought about that going into it. How in servicing 10 characters as well, we have 10 characters, all of whom, all of these actors that I'm working with could easily carry a show themselves. So the story why like in terms of wanting everybody to get as much coverage and opportunities to play if they're improvising, and there's just not enough hours in the day to do that and shoot it with and without the ghosts. So it's a very technical and requires a lot of focus, this job. you'd think everybody's like, is it so much fun on set? And we are laughing, we're having a great time, but most of the time we're trying not to in order to make the day. And I think, yeah, I hadn't kind of anticipated quite how much of that there would be. I like technical work. I respond quite well. I really like working with a crew. I really like knowing what the operators are trying to achieve and what, sound needs to match it to, like, match this performance to, even though there's no ghosts in the room. So I love that side of it. And we just have an amazing team around us that all, I can't imagine shooting this with anybody inept. It would it would have some major problems trying to get through a day.
Were there any scenes or episodes that you can remember that were filmed in a clever way that audiences wouldn't have perceived?
There have been a number of sort of the camera moves and all of the ghosts run in from outside where they've been hiding, and then when the camera comes back around to them, they're all suddenly revealed. We've had to do a few things like that. Trent O'Donnell, one of our directors, is really brilliant. He directed the pilot, and he's really imaginative in how he likes to play with that. I remember one pass, the camera was coming along behind my head, and it comes behind mine and Utkash's head, and on one side it's looking out and it sees nobody, and then it comes past mine and we have to fill everybody. And that's those sorts of things which end up being tiny moments on screen, but potent moments, are very complicated to shoot, and worth it. That kind of underlines this worldview, that this difference and disparity in how Sam and Jay are living in their own home.
I think there's also definitely an appeal for these moments where like Jay can actually see the ghosts or other things that don't happen. Is that something that you'd like to see, sort of whether it's a fantasy episode or a quick, power surge type thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was so cool doing Possession, where Utkarsh got to play with everybody. I think there have been lots of discussions about fever dreams and flashbacks. And, I love, in the pilot, Richie Moriarty, who plays Pete, also plays one of the cholera pit ghosts. And I really like moments like that. I've enjoyed that a lot. That happens a lot in the Ghosts original BBC series. People play multiple characters, and I enjoy kind of moments like that. So I hope there'd be chances for things to come up down the line. I want to play Hetty's mustachioed sister in a flashback. That's my absolute goal, but we'll see if it happens.
I feel like Sam has gotten interact with every character. Do you feel that there's somebody who you're itching to work more with that for some reason hasn't been featured as much?
Oh, I love playing with Betsy Sidaro, and I have got to play with her a bunch, but I feel like the basement isolation chamber keeps kind of me away from a lot of her action, and I would enjoy interacting with her more.
And are there any fun guest stars you've really had the pleasure of sharing scenes with?
Oh, so cool. Yeah, I mean, one of the highlights this year was we had Jake Carnevale play. He's a relative of mine. It's a long way to explain it, but yeah, so it's really cool. Like, he came up and played a buyer of a used car, a seller and then a buyer of a used car. But having him on set was really exciting, and it feels a little like we are hosting as a cast. We feel like we're inviting these guests to our home, which is what you do, obviously, when guests come in and play with a series regular cast. And it kind of is a nice overflow when we're literally hosting them in a B&B on the show half of the time as well.
I also like how the second season has talked a lot about, the rewards program and other things. They're really trying to turn this into that, like, feels like it doesn't quite belong on the show, but somehow it feels perfect.
Oh, it feels so perfectly Jay. I love when Utkarsh plays that stuff. Yeah, like really, really trying to nail the business side of things. And Sam and Jay are obviously kind of still figuring it out on the business front. But yeah, the Woodstone Rewards Points program is one of my favorites. I belong to so many of those. Just today, I bought a smoothie and I put these points in. I've never got a reward from it. It's just a whole lot of like admin. So I like that. I like that moment.
Do you feel like season 2 has been a substantially different experience from season 1?
I think we're really starting to hit our stride. I think we're starting to know each other, and it's a lot of people to learn how you all work. And every time 2 different actors get paired up in a scene, or 3 different actors get paired up in a scene, it's a different show in lots of ways, and you work differently and you bring out different strengths. So I think we've this year has been quite good for like digging in and realizing, for kind of finding our flow a bit more. because the first season was a lot of new, and a lot of what is this kind of big runaway, great project we're all a part of? How does it work? What works? What doesn't? We've been able to reflect on things a little bit more this year and hopefully bring back kind of leaning into some of those strengths.
I don't want to ask you to give anything away about season 3 if you know anything, but what would you like to see from Sam in season 3?
I am dying to find out anything I can. And the Joes are like, they're like the vault. They are like the vault in our show. I don't know what it is. It's an impenetrable metal that we can't get past. I understand they have all of us asking and all of us giving ideas. There's a lot of very creative cast members. So I don't have too much on season 3 yet, but I would love to see more. I want to see a lot of Sam interacting with Jay's family, because Sam doesn't have a lot of family herself. And obviously the ghosts have become a family to her. But I know those relatives who kind of really take it upon themselves to, map out the family genealogy, or I could see Sam really trying to kind of get stuck in with some of, especially Jay's sister. She loves Jay's sister. She's obsessed with Bella. She wants to be her sister. So I think there's a lot of fun to be had in that realm too.
Do you read any fan responses to the show, and has anything surprised you?
I'm always touched when people are moved and when people have, like I've had some really moving things, people saying they have family members with terminal illnesses, and it's kind of made them be able to sort of think of have a conversation started with family about topics that are hard to talk about, or to think about some kind of warm way that they could still be present in their lives, or it's like the stuff you don't expect when you're doing a half-hour sitcom to kind of have any impact or provide any sort of significant comfort to people. And I've heard stories that it has, so that feels obviously like a huge privilege.
Well, since you don't know anything about season 3, I assume you're not working on season 3 yet. Is there anything that you are working on at the moment that you'd like to share?
No, I've just got back from 3 months in New Zealand and Australia, where I have been off grid. It's been so good just to recoup. I really, really love when I work on Ghosts, being able to put everything I can into it. And I know for myself, it is a big job, and it takes me a little while to decompress. So I've had a really nice bit of downtime. I'm now back in LA, so sniffing around and writing as well. I'm seeing kind of what comes of a couple of projects that I've written.
Wonderful. Well, good luck with all of that, and I hope they tell you about season 3, what's going to happen sometime soon.
Thank you. Me too. Appreciate it. Thanks, babe.
Thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you.
You too.